Transfers, transfers, transfers. Yo, what's going on, people? How's it going? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, host Jan. I hope you lot are all doing well today. I really do hope that. Are you doing well? Yes, that's good. Hopefully you said yes. Welcome back to Chelsea News, the daily series here on Football Therapy, where I see what's being said in the rags, giving you my opinion, and we assess it together. And I also ask for your opinion. Now, a couple of stories, one story I want to talk about today, and one sort of speculated theoretical that's been floating around the Chelsea fan base. The story being about Gianluigi Donnarumma, how yet again he's being linked heavier to Chelsea Football Club, more and more about a potential free transfer this summer. And I want to pose the question about Romelu Lukaku. Of course, Chelsea are heavily in for Erling Haaland, and we all hope we achieve this signing this summer, but should they not be able to do so, there's a lot of people asking about Romelu Lukaku. Would you have him back? Inter have financial problems. Lukaku has recently stated his love for Chelsea still. Plenty to get into, and if you look at his incredible numbers, Lukaku, well over 300 career goals now. He's only 27 in his prime, an amazing season and run of form he's in at the moment. We'll get into all of that. Subscribe to Football Therapy if you're new, and if you do choose to subscribe, hit that bell notifications icon. It is important. It keeps you posted when I upload, apparently says YouTube. Drop a like if you want to show your sweet, sweet love as we get into today's first story on Donnarumma. Right, now, this is being reported from Eurosport, but it's all over the gaff in terms of headlines and, publications, etc. Donnarumma is a very young yet very experienced goalkeeper. I've spoken about him a few times here on Football Therapy. I think he was the first team goalkeeper for Milan since he was like 16, 17, which is incredible. He hardly misses a game. He's been really, really good for them, and he's reluctant to sign a new deal and could be available on a free transfer this summer. Now, Chelsea have goalkeepers. You'd imagine Caballero would be out the door. Chelsea are still very, very keen to get Kepa Arrizabalaga a move, whether it's a transfer making a loss or indeed a loan move, probably to La Liga. So that leaves you with Edouard Mendy, who's been very good for Chelsea, and personally, I've been very pleased with his performances of late. But that won't stop Chelsea looking for a world-class goalkeeper. Chelsea know they need a world-class defender, goalkeeper and striker to win titles. Courtois, check, our recent Premier League winning goalkeepers. Diego Costa, Drogba, other recent Premier League strikers, do you know what I mean? And then defenders, you could have John Terry, Cahill, whatever. Point being is, Chelsea does know you need these foundational characters, and I'm not saying Mendy isn't good enough, but perhaps the club does not see Mendy as a world-class option. So I'm going to read you an extract from this Eurosport article regarding Gianluigi Donnarumma, and then give you my opinion on it. As one of Milan's star players, it seems impossible they will let him leave. Yet his contract expires at the end of the season, and there's been no breakthrough over a new deal. Chelsea are contemplating whether to sign another goalkeeper in the summer, and while another defender and striker will be priority when it comes to big name signings, Donnarumma, 22, is one of the stoppers in world football they would jump at signing if he became available. The current match schedule is tricky to negotiate terms at the moment, with Milan still in the Europa League and also fighting for the title in Serie A. Right, interesting. Of course, he would be allowed at this point to negotiate with a new club. In fact, since January, because he's in the final 6 months of his deal, but with a crazy apocalyptic pandemic world and, like they say, still in Europe as well as a domestic title challenge, he hasn't had the opportunity to negotiate with other clubs, notably Chelsea Football Club. Let's read the final part of this extract. It's understood Donnarumma is looking for around 10.5 million euros a year, brackets 9.1 million pounds a year, for his next contract, and Milan are not willing to pay that. Chelsea almost certainly will be. The Blues would still be looking to offload Kepa Arrizabalaga in the summer, and if he leaves, there's no guarantee that Mendy gets to be the full-time number one. Chelsea are pondering various options to add competition for next season, but Donnarumma on a free transfer tops that list. Boom, 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 boom! Pretty much reiterating what I said. Look, Mendy's good, but there's no guarantee he could be Chelsea's number one moving forward from the club's perspective. Yes, he's performed well. And if you say, before you criticise me in the comments, I like Eddie Mendy. He's a really good character. He's in his prime. He seems to be performing at a decent level, but he's 29 now. Happy birthday for yesterday, I think. Donnarumma, I believe, is 21 or 22, and he's been recognised as one of the elite world footballers, do you know what I mean? Or one of the elite goalkeepers in world football at such a young age. So it's like getting Petr Cech really, you know, like 22 potentially, or 21. Do you know what I mean? That's the way Chelsea are looking at it. You put him on a 7-year deal like they did with Kepa, but you know, Kepa, when we bought him, wasn't being viewed as Donnarumma. You see what I'm saying? Free transfer as well, man. It's one of those opportunities. Yes, there'd be a huge agent fee, and I have a feeling his agents mean Areola. So yes, there'll be a huge agent fee. Yes, there'll be a huge signing on fee, but that still makes a massive saving, and his wage demands would probably be acceptable for Chelsea Football Club as a first-team goalkeeper of his stature. And you know, again, elite player, known in world football. I know people don't want to hear it, but in terms of like branding and stuff coming to Chelsea, his like notoriety and profile in terms of the market value of Chelsea as a team, Donnarumma is much, much higher than Mendy or indeed Kepa Arrizabalaga now, and to be honest, much, much higher than Kepa when we bought him. Do you know what I mean? So it's something to think about, and I'll be keen to get your thoughts, feelings and opinions on the Donnarumma story as it draws closer to the summer transfer window. Right, let's move on and talk about Romelu Lukaku. Now, it's important I note at this point that I'm not citing an article here. There's no official links. It's been speculated by a few Chelsea people that, you know, perhaps he'd be considered if Chelsea cannot get Haaland. And of course, Matt Law recently came out on the Londoners Blue pod and said, look, he'd think he'd be an excellent signing for Chelsea. Not saying he's being linked, there's no information that's come out here. Speculative at the moment, but there are some people saying that Chelsea would consider him as an alternative if they're not able to get Erling Haaland, which obviously is a massive potentiality because loads of people will want Erling Haaland. That's just the way it's going to go. Now, would Milan want to sell Lukaku? Antonio Conte absolutely won't want to. As Matt Law stated as well, again on the Londoners Blue pod, Antonio Conte thinks Romelu Lukaku is the best striker in the world, and he will argue forever that he's the best striker in the world. He really wanted him at Chelsea, he finally got him at Inter, and he absolutely loves him. I don't think Lukaku's the best striker in the world, but I think he's a very, very good striker with an incredible scoring record. He's in his prime, and he likes Chelsea. Now, to go back on whether Inter would sell him, there's rumours that, or there's certain reports that they're in financial trouble. The Chinese company that owns Inter Milan have recently dissolved or packed up in the Chinese Super League or whatever. And there are reports that there's financial difficulties for the Nerazzurri. Plus, you know, they can't pay the fees for Hakimi, and they might have to sell Hakimi even though they really like him. They can't pay payments on him. Lots and lots of problems there. Do you know what I mean? So if they think, right, we'll sell Lukaku for the same money we bought him for, what, £75 million? We can buy Hakimi, we can buy a striker alternative and balance the books a little bit more. Antonio Conte would hate it and probably leave, but if he wins City out this season, I think his contract might be up this season as well. Then, you know, done and dusted, job done, move on. So theoretically, it could be a possibility that Chelsea look to Lukaku. Lukaku might want to come back to Chelsea. He recently responded to that tweet in a Q&A saying he's got nothing but love for Chelsea because we gave him the opportunity, and kind of implies that he might want to come back. He felt really unwanted under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and yeah, I don't think he was very happy there generally with the Zlatan stuff and whatever, you know. Would I want him? He's got well over 300 career goals. He's 27 in his prime. He's very strong and fast. He's got an immaculate record for, I believe he's Belgium's top goal scorer at 27 of all time. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments. He's had some magnificent performances for Belgium out on the right wing as well as the striker position. Of course, he's always scored goals in the Premier League, whether it's for Brom, Everton or Manchester United. You know, so he's a proven goal scorer. As things stand in Serie A, he's one goal behind Cristiano Ronaldo, but has more assists than him, more goals per 90, a better shot accuracy and a better conversion rate than Ronaldo. Basically everything is good. Excellent run of form, and he's good at combining as well. Remember, Lukaku's not a selfish striker. Like I said, he's played out on the wing for Belgium and played people in. He plays in a 2 system for Inter Milan, where he obviously has great chemistry with Lautaro Martinez. So he's very good at setting up other players and playing for the team. Obviously, people criticise his touch and stuff, saying he's got a bad first touch, and you'll see compilations on YouTube of poor touches from Lukaku, but you'll see good touches as well. And ultimately, he's one of those players that his record speaks for itself. So I'm keen to get your thoughts, feelings and opinions, guys. If Chelsea could not sign Erling Haaland this summer, would you take Romelu Lukaku back? And how much would you have Chelsea pay for him? Like, what's your limit? Let me know down in the comment section below. I'm going to wind it up today, guys. So thank you so much for watching. Drop a like if you've enjoyed this content. Subscribe if you're new. Enjoy the football, and I'll see you later.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me baby.